Excellencies, distinguished guests, and ladies and gentlemen, once again, welcome back to the 11th ASEAN Connectivity Forum. And now, without further ado, we will begin session 1 entitled ASEAN Digital Connectivity, Challenges and Opportunities. Throughout the session, the ongoing efforts of ASEAN in terms of digital connectivity will be analyzed, and the impact and also ripple effects of digital connectivity on enhancing ASEAN's competitiveness will be discussed. Ladies and gentlemen, this session we're joined by 4 esteemed presenters and our moderator. Now we'd like to introduce them briefly. It is my great honor and privilege to introduce Professor Yoon-ah, Professor of Southeast Asian Studies at Graduate School of International Studies at Seoul National University, who will be leading the session as a moderator. Please welcome our moderator with a big round of applause. Thank you very much. And now we'd like to welcome our 4 speakers. First, we're joined by Dr. Lee Quang, Director of Market Integration Directorate at ASEAN Secretariat. Please welcome him. Thank you for your participation. And next, please join me in welcoming Dr. Chang-yong, Director of National Radio Research Agency at the Ministry of Science and ICT of the Republic of Korea. Thank you very much. Thank you. As you can see on the stage, we're joined by Mr. Kyung-ho, CEO of GLN International. Please welcome him. Thank you. Last but not least, Dr. Yoon-seok, Executive Principal of National Information Society Agency, is joining us today. Please join me in welcoming him. Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, after having 4 presentations at session 1, we will delve into discussions. So ladies and gentlemen, if you have any questions or your comments, please use the QR code on your booklet and please access them and leave your comments or any inquiries. And we will use them and share with our audience at the Q&A session. So now it's time to welcome our first presenter. Now, Dr. Lee Quang, Director of Market Integration Directorate at ASEAN Secretariat, will be delivering his first presentation. Please move to the podium. And his presentation will be on Regional Cooperation for Digital Connectivity, ASEAN Digital Master Plan, and ASEAN Digital Economy Framework Agreement, or DEFA. So now, once again, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome him with a big round of applause.
So good morning, and Excellency Mr. Kim Hae-young, Secretary General of the ASEAN-Korea Centers, Excellency my former Secretary General of ASEAN, Dato Lim Jok-hoi, and Deputy Ministers, and also Ambassadors, Excellency, and ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for the opportunity for me to be here in this forum to present to you some of the key achievements that ASEAN has been secured for the last several years in terms of the digital transformation and connectivity. So, like a snapshot, I just want to give you the overlook of the ASEAN and the ASEAN digital economy. And the second part of it, that I'm trying to bring it up, some of the key challenges in a journey of digital transformation in ASEAN. And definitely that I want to show some of the key initiatives that ASEAN has been undertaking for the last several years, and also the initiative that ASEAN is going to undertake in the years ahead. And there's some recommendation, I think, that it's about the role of the ASEAN-Korea centers can play a big role in promoting the ASEAN-Korean digital connectivity. So just a quick snapshot, that is where ASEAN. I just want to highlight that ASEAN as a group is the 5th largest economy in the world, with a total GDP of $1.6 trillion, and we have a potential a huge potential for the digital transformation with 460 million internet users in ASEAN, and 80% of them actually is active in the digital e-commerce platform. So now, in the last 7 years, we have encountered one of the biggest challenges in the history of the human being, which is the pandemic. And ASEAN is one of the fastest economic regions. Actually, we actually go through the pandemic with a very impressive, resilient capability, and thanks to the digital transformations in and within every ASEAN member country. And if you may see on the screen that there is some sort of interrelations between the level of resilience and the level of digital readiness, which the country who have a more capability in the digital transformation would be more resilient in our future, in promoting the economic growth, even in the pandemic. And likewise, the companies who have more well-equipped with digital technology would be more resilient than those who have not. Now, the COVID-19 pandemic has accelerated the digital transformation trajectory and demonstrate immense power of digital to maintain the region resilient. And ASEAN is now really ready to take on a new journey on digital transformation. And ASEAN is now the third largest internet base in the world economy, with more than, like I said earlier, 460 million active internet users. And thanks for that, the gross digital value of the ASEAN have reached $200 billion in 2023, and we are on track to achieve $1 trillion by 2030. And in the recent assessment and study that are undertaken by all ASEAN member countries, in fact, that all ASEAN countries have greatly benefit from the digital transformation, and all ASEAN is moving toward a new journey where we want to become $2 trillion by 2030 with the launch of the ASEAN Digital Economic Framework Agreement, or DEFA in short. Now, but that journey have a lot of challenge. And this challenge is somehow need to be addressed, otherwise potential is just a potential. We want to realize the potential to become a real benefit to all. And those challenges, first is that ASEAN member countries have a very different starting point. And that is the imperative fact that we need to consider when we try to align ourselves with a common ground for this digital economy, so that every country, every companies and business sector can actively benefit from that. We also have a big gap in our regulatory framework for the digital economy across the regions. And likewise, we also have a quite different capability in terms of cybersecurity, in terms of trade facilitation to promote the e-commerce and digital economy in each and every country. So in ASEAN, the diverse and the contrast, it's really a diverse and a contrast pictures where the best performers are sitting beside a lower performers in our digital transformation. Now, I want to move on to one of our key initiatives and how to address those challenges. I want to touch upon the ASEAN Digital Master Plan 2025, which is one of our key initiatives that has been undertaken in the last many, many years. the ASEAN Digital Master Plan is our first concrete and stepping stone in order to build the digital infrastructures across the region. One of the first and the most achievement that ASEAN is come together and bring some sort of confidence and trust among ASEAN in order to achieve the so-called common digital digital infrastructures. And there are, and in the implementation of the digital master plan, we are aiming toward the original leading digital community and the economic bloc, empowered with the secure, with the transformative digital service and technology and ecosystem. And there are 37 enabling action that we have achieved, we have implemented throughout the year, and a lot of good initiatives that try to set a common standard, a common and harmonized regulatory reform within ASEAN toward a single vision of it. Now, beside the ASEAN Digital Master Plan, from 2021, ASEAN implemented for the first time a single journey where we call it Bandar Beri Begawan Roadmap on the digital transformation, where we bring all together the digital initiative across sector body, from custom, from standard, from digital, even from tourism. We all come together with a view to establish a foundation for our next journey. And in fact, the BSBR, or the Bandar Seri Begawan Roadmap on digital transformation, paved a really solid foundation for ASEAN to come to a new stage where we are aiming for a single digital ASEAN framework agreement. And now, for the digital framework agreement itself, ASEAN has already launched the negotiation for the DEFA, where we identify 9 key elements across the board in order to bring all ASEAN sector body to come on a single journey. That is the digital trade, e-commerce, digital ID and authentication, the online safety, cybersecurity, competition policy, payment, and e-invoicing, and cross-border data governance, cooperation on emerging topics, and talent mobility. It is a comprehensive, and for the first time, ASEAN aimed to establish a legally binding agreement on this area. Now, I want to turn to a recommendation, a very quick one, where I believe that the ASEAN-Korea centers actually can play a good role. One is to support the adoption of the digital technology to increase the quality and the coverage of fixed and mobility broadband network as specified in our ASEAN Digital Master Plan. I'm sure that the ASEAN-Korea Center can build capacity building for ASEAN to implement our digital master plan, particularly in terms of promoting the quality, taking the expertise of the Korean technology. Second, the ASEAN-Korean Center can play a good role in conducting multiple stakeholders dialogue to enhance the implementation of the ASEAN data governance to support the digital connectivity between ASEAN and Korea. And last but not least, I'm sure that the ASEAN-Korea Center can bring the joint effort to support ASEAN to address the capacity building, digital skill, cybersecurity, and to promote the paperless trading between ASEAN and Korea, and also to support the to support the SME in our journey on the digital transformation. So with that, I would like to stop here, and I'm very much welcome any further questions that I myself can help to address in the Q&A section. So thank you very much for your attention. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Lan, for that presentation. So he shared key achievements and challenges of ASEAN Secretariat in terms of digital transformation and connectivity. And next, we will listen to our second presentation. This time, we're joined by Dr. Chang-yong, Director of National Radio Research Agency of the Ministry of Science and ICT of the Republic of Korea. And the topic of this presentation will be ensuring reliable and affordable connectivity to shape digital economy, broadband infrastructure development in ASEAN. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming him with a big round of applause.
Good morning, all delegations and ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for introductions. I am Chang-yong, Director of the Ministry of Science and ICT, and I have been working in the UN ESCA last 3 years. Today, I would like to present why the connectivity or the digital infrastructure is the key element to shaping the digital economies in the Asian countries. ITU estimate that about 4-5 billion people, or 67% of the world population, are accessing the internet by the last years. However, this slide shows that representing 6.6 billion people still offline or unable to access any kind of the internet service. Also, ITU data display that global connectivity level is widely disparities in terms of region, income level, on the economic condition in the regions. In the ASEAN member countries, there is a widened gaps among the countries by looking at the fixed broadband subscriptions and the mobile broadband subscription. As we recall last COVID-19 areas, the low level of the digital infrastructure significantly impact how we are living, how we educating, how we working throughout this digital infrastructure. So it is times we recognize what is the meaning of the digital infrastructure or connectivity, not just in broadband, but also mobile connectivity in the last couple of years. Yes. This slide shows that my analyzed what is the next level of connectivity to boosting digital economy in the regions. As we noticed this slide, connectivity is an invaluable social asset enabling people to seize new opportunity, shaping new economy, and accelerating progress toward achieving UNDSGs or ASEAN's established goals. By looking at this one, in years, most of our daily life could be connected by any kind of the connectivity service, such as IoTs, 5G or 6G network, giga networks, or satellite service as well. However, the problem is how we connecting throughout these new devices or connectivity, not just in single country, but also to ASEAN member country and all around the world. In order to analyzing to the building digital economy and the ICT development or connectivity, I would like to suggest 3 case studies. In Korea, last couple of years, the government employment of 5G service network, and it showed that enhancing connectivity is most important things in industry. In order to shaping the digital economy, the government early in middle of the 2010s, incorporating with the industrial, chose to the 10 key industry and 5 key service to nursing national economies and the social development, which brings so many benefits current in Korean society. Also, now, including myself and my colleagues in policymakers in Korea, is planning to next level of networks, such as 66th generation networks, by mapping the new roadmaps and research and development projects. The second case study is how we connecting to the artificial intelligence and the connectivity issue. Today, the artificial intelligence and the virtual world around the world, as we recognize, artificial intelligence and robotics has been great potential to shape digital economies, bring benefit for user, business, and economy. However, connectivity is the key component to facilitate artificial intelligence development, while the degree of the artificial intelligence development is widen gap around the world, including ASEAN Pacific and ASEAN member countries, according to the latest survey. This is another case study, how we enhancing connectivity across border, because it is another key issue. ASEAN member countries have a cooperation to next few years. In the ASEAN member countries, intergovernment connectivity is still problems. As studies show that the regional development and the global society is cross-border connectivity is the key matter to build and to new next generation networks. In order to tackling the increased traffic in the region and to handling the internet traffic management, the region have to build next level of digital infrastructure, not only national cable, but also to satellite or marine cable network as well. In globalist, as we today's in opening speaker and the third person speakers already mentioned that there are so many regional initiatives to the ASEAN countries' ICT development. Globally, there are so many regional initiatives to nursing countries and regional development. It includes the UN's roadmap for digital corporations, ADB's Strategy 2013, the ASEAN Master Plan, ASEAN Connectivity 2025. However, the problem is how to find funding resources to mobilize all of these projects and how to cooperate the initiative to national policy maker or national other agenda. The other one is how to implement all of this project to achieving our established goal. So far, I explained the justification of the digital infrastructure and some cases. I would like some summarizing some challenges and opportunity we have faced and overcome. I identified that widen gaps nation, lack of conductive policies or policy or regulation, less level of awareness of the connectivity and the social impact. However, as we recognize that reducing and preventing of the digital disaster can be handling throughout the enhancing connectivity and the digital technology. Right side, I also say that what is the regional connectivity and the issue and the widen gaps in terms of mobile and the fixed broadband service. To wrap up, I would like to some suggestions to the mobilizing all of the initiatives and the national resources. The first thinking is connectivity is no longer fall under the single government or a public agency. It is the issue of the governance, how we to handle all of the national or regional resources to mobilizing our project. The other one is already mentioned opening speaker that policymaker and the regulatory authority have to collaborate this approach to sustainable digital development and the regional development. The other one is expanded partnership and cross-border connectivity are another key aspect we have to involving and focusing on this issue. Last but listing is, as today's topics, infrastructure technology or information communication technology is one of the fundamental issues as said. We have to sustain and healthy our development and the national economic system. It could be also benefit to regional ASEAN country development. Thank you for attention.
Thank you very much, Dr. Son, for enlightening us with your presentation. Next, we will listen to our third presentation at session 1. This time, we're joined by Mr. Kyung-ho, CEO of GLN International, and today he will be delivering his presentation under the topic of Journey Towards Seamless Regional Payments Connectivity. Let us now welcome him with a big round of applause.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Kenneth Kim, the CEO of GLN. I'm happy to introduce our business, services, and our plan in the future in view of financial connectivity. Let me first start who we are. As we know, the financial transaction is quickly shifting from cash to credit card, plastic card, and plastic card to e-wallet due to development of IT. There are thousands of e-wallets in the world which provide various payments services. We expect the e-wallet market to reach $567 billion by 2032. However, most of e-wallet services are limited within domestic transactions because for a small company like a fintech, it is very difficult to apply the FX systems, and also it's very hard to expand their business to cross-border user and cross-border merchant network. That's why we started the cross-border payment services from Hana Bank in 2016. Hana Bank is the largest FX house in Korea and have lots of experiences in FX services in Asia. We launched the very first cross-border payment connection using e-wallets in 2019. And then, to be more neutral and to get more partners, we spin off from Hana Bank in 2021, and GLN is established. What we want to do is helping our partners to connect in global scale. Then, who are our partners? One side is e-wallet or banks who have mobile applications and users. And the other side will be acquiring companies or bank who have merchant or ATM networks. In the middle, GLN will provide partners a very easy way to connect each other. Now, I show you the short video clip of our business. As you saw in the video, we provide online and offline payment connection, ATM withdrawal service with QR, and remittance services. We have acquired all the relevant licenses to do these businesses and successfully carrying out our services in 10 different countries and regions. Here I show you how it is actually provided to users. Starting from Taiwan, Thailand in 2019, now we have expanded our networks in various countries and regions, even in Laos. Main goal of our business is helping many Korean travelers pay at Asian stores using their Korean wallet. We believe that Asian countries are strategically very important for our business since it is the hottest destination for global travelers. We also plan to give benefits to local stores with low transactions and low FX rate. You can use GLN services in major Korean e-wallets like KakaoPay, Tues, Hana Bank, and KB Bank. With these e-wallets, we are covering most of users in South Korea. Not only that, we have established partnership with various banks and e-wallet partners in Asian countries. You may be surprised to see this, but we have lots of merchant and ATM network worldwide, and number is rapidly growing after the recovery of COVID-19. Transaction volume is very high, especially in Thailand. Our transaction volume is rapidly. We have attracted strategic investment from our business partners in Korea, Japan, and Taiwan. We plan to create synergy effect with our global partners in the future. Our vision is we will globalize local payment network. To do that, we will continuously connect our cross-border payment, not only Asian, but also Europeans and American payment network. And together with our partners, we aim for a $10 billion transaction company by the year 2030. Thank you for listening. We really want to connect all Asian countries and Korea as soon as possible. To do that, we need support from many sides, especially from the public sectors. Hope you have a wonderful day. Thank you again.
Thank you very much, Mr. Kim, for that presentation. And ladies and gentlemen, that was a presentation delivered by our third presenter, Mr. Kim, and he just introduced the work of GLN, also the possible partnerships that we can make together. And we do have one more presentation for this session. Now we'd like to welcome our last presenter. Dr. Yoon-seok, Executive Principal of National Information Society Agency, will deliver his presentation under the topic of Wakening Up the Potential Value of ASEAN Data Connectivity. Please welcome him with a big round of applause.
Thank you very much. Right after I got invited to this forum, I thought about what should I prepare. You know, there will be a lot of people and listening to me. And okay, let's get straight. What is the most important thing nowadays? Because I don't think there's anybody who doubts we are living in the era of AI. Then what's the core for AI? Of course, that would be data, right? We have talked about networks, broadband, penetration, speed, but that's today, right? What's the future then, right? We are living in AI world, and what is the core in the era of AI? Of course, that would be data. Without data, we cannot do anything. We cannot develop AI services. We cannot even analyze anything. We cannot connect to anybody, right? So this is the story of ASEAN data connectivity. And Okay, then why data? Why we are always emphasizing, focusing on data in the era of AI? Because data is responsible for 80% of AI performance, right? That's why we are always crazy about data. I brought this from OECD website, and look at AI leading countries, for example, United States, China. They are always investing a huge amount of money on data, as well as algorithm and computing power, right? Okay, then where do we have to start to improve ASEAN data connectivity? I say, let's go straight, government data portal. Because private sectors, it's very hard for us to bring together, right? But we already have ASEAN, right? Then let's go to government data portals, then get together. This is what we would like to have at the end of connectivity, right? All ASEAN member states get together and connected to each other, data flowing, going A to B and, C to D. There's no barriers or no boundaries. We can, exchange, without borders. And then people can navigate all ASEAN public data through the ASEAN Data Hub. This is exactly what we want, right? Okay, then I just, had a research. Okay, I went to all the government data portals for ASEAN member states. Look at the number of data sets in each of government data portals. Indonesia, huge amount of data sets available. Malaysia, Philippines, Singapore, Thailand, Vietnamese. We already have data, right? We just need to connect this data together. How can we do that? In order to connect this data together, I think we need three factors. First of all, data classification model. I mean, when we need to connect to something, everybody, talking about, hey, we have to build a system. We need this and this and that. We need to build a huge system and all brings together. Does it work always? No. We had a lot of experiences building systems first, always at the end of the result, it fails, right? So, data classification model. How are you going to organize data? How are you going to structure data? That's the first one. Data classification model is the core of data connectivity. Second, ASEAN metadata model. Data has all different factors, but in order to structure data, we really need to have metadata model. Without metadata model, we cannot go anywhere near to data connectivity. The last one, how are you going to visualize data? People go to ASEAN Data Hub maybe, and then if they cannot find the data they are looking for, how are you going to, satisfy those visitors or users? That's very important. These three factors are just crucial for data connectivity for ASEAN. Okay, so fortunately, I did last year. I had a chance to design ASEAN data dictionary model, and what I did was I went to all ASEAN member states' government websites and find each government's roles and what they do, then made this model. So each government function needs to connect to producing data. Then we can connect these functions together. Then you have classification model. that's called, a data classification model based on business reference model. Then metadata model. I went to all the websites and downloaded all the data from each of the websites and found 10 metadata fields that we should have. First of all, title, publisher, updates, data portal, URL, file type, description, download URL, file name, license. These are the core of metadata, so you must have your data ready for this, each field of metadata model. Okay, this is what I had at the end of the project. And first of all, there was a scattered data without connectivity, and I used the ASEAN data dictionary model. We are able to connect health-related data, agriculture-related data, ICT-related data together. Okay, this is we analyze all 781 data sets by government business functions. For example, health policy and planning. You can gather all health policy and planning related data together. Okay, this is another example of viewing data users looking for. Okay, example of data analysis. After you get the data, we just navigate to what we can do with it. On the left side, number of deaths by type of disease in Malaysia, and the ratio of residents covered by insurance in Indonesia. These kind of examples we can do with the data connectivity. This is another example. So data visualization is also very much important. So because when users use or download data, search data, how you're going to visualize, it really depends on the usability. So if you look at this is just a visualization tool that I made last year. For example, Singapore, COVID-19, then Malaysia. There are all the related, data by structure and classification. So this kind of things make a lot easier for users to navigate or also connect data together. So this is what I would like to conclude. First of all, we need to discuss how do we build the data governance first. That's very important. Second, how do we develop the ASEAN Data Hub? That's also important. The last one, how do we maintain the ASEAN Data Hub? Building is easy, but how are you going to keep the service going or better? And the last one, how do we connect private data with the ASEAN Data Hub? Only if you have only public data, that's 50% of data. A lot of amount of data created by private, you really need this get together, okay? I think that's pretty much my presentation. Thank you for listening. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Ko, and thank you to all of our 4 speakers. We had 4 presentations on the challenges and opportunities in achieving ASEAN digital connectivity. And now, ladies and gentlemen, we'll delve into a panel discussion. And from now on, our moderator will be leading the session. And our questions and opinions collected from the audience will be displayed on the screen in front of the panelists. And now, over to you, our moderator. Please begin the session.
Thank you to the MC for helping us to set things up for the panel discussion. And thank you again for all the speakers for a very informative presentations. And it is great to be here this morning. The 4 speakers this morning addressed, I think, a wide range of topics related to digital connectivity in ASEAN. Dr. Lan started us out providing us with a nice survey of where ASEAN is and where ASEAN is headed in terms of digital transformation. And Dr. Son reminded us of the fundamental importance of ICT infrastructure, in this case, physical, broadband, and mobile infrastructures for securing and expanding the benefits of digital economy in ASEAN. And Mr. Kim, coming from private sector, took us on a tour on cutting-edge development of ASEAN or regional payment system that involves Korea and some members of some of the ASEAN member states. And finally, Dr. Son shared with us a really interesting idea of building public data connectivity at this point, which I think is really important because it directly speaks to and contributes to the ASEAN community building effort. Because if it is completed, it will not only help policy making for sure, but having this data hub in one place will help people inside and outside ASEAN to see and think ASEAN as one entity, because there you can see quite easily the regional trend and you can compare contrast quite easily, right, across countries. So I think it's a really interesting idea. And he also talked about some of the related work under development. So I really appreciate it. So for the first round of discussion, I will use my privilege as a moderator to pose a common question to all of our speakers. So it is because the ultimate goal of an event like this today is to find out new ideas or flesh out ideas that can help move us forward on the front of ASEAN-Korea cooperation. So in that sense, I'd like to, all of the speakers that, so based on your presentation, if you have to pick one specific role that Korea, so it can be Korean government or Korean private sector, so one specific role that Korea can play to foster and further this for the cooperation in this domain, what would that be? We'll begin with Dr. Lan.
Thank you very much for the question. First of all, I think I must to underscore that Korea is one of our most active partners in the digital areas. And actually, the ASEAN and Korea has implemented a number of good initiatives, including the one that you just highlighted, the ASEAN Open Dictionary, one of the initiatives under the connectivity. We also have immense collaboration with Korea in terms of financial inclusions. And we are really talking about the payments and also the financial fintech that try to reach out to the most vulnerable people who are living in the rural areas. So we actually work very, very actively with Korea. Now, but having said that, I want to emphasize that there are still a lot of things that we can work together. As one of the leading power in the global power in the digital transformation, Korea can have a lot to offer for ASEAN in terms of promoting connectivity. One of the most impactful areas that Korea and ASEAN should work together is to promote the paper-led trading. We actually need to do more in paper-led trading to promote like the electronic custom declaration or even some rules of origin certificate. We have a very good comprehensive FTA between ASEAN and Korea. But we actually lack of the digital facility to promote that. And I just want to give you an example that in ASEAN alone, with the ASEAN single window, we actually, in 1 year, we exchange 1 million electronic documents online. This is among ASEAN, and it saved about 150 million US dollars. I'm sure that as one of our biggest partner of ASEAN, Korea and ASEAN can work together in this area. In terms of cybersecurity, I'm sure that Korea is probably our great partners to promote the capacity building for ASEAN, and also how to promote a safe and secure data governance. And I'm really, I'm listening very with a lot of enthusiasm with your initiative on building the ASEAN data hub. I'm sure that the data is always about security, privacy. I'm sure that Korea can actually have a lot. And finally, but of course not least, is capacity building. Digital can be instrumental to the SME capability to enhance their competitiveness, and also to provide them with opportunity to scale up their business model from startup to a real business opportunity. So I'm sure that that Korea can actually help. And finally, and really finally, I believe that in the future, I look forward to have the ASEAN-Korea digital agreement. It should be built on our current DEFA agreement in sometime. I'm sure that it is a most comprehensive connectivity initiative between two economies. So thank you very much.
Yes, Dr. Son, please.
Thank you very much. Questions? I already have mentioned my answer to my presentation. However, last couple of years, I have been working in UN ESCAP, located in Thailand, in Bangkok. I also have engagement to the ASEAN connectivity project. So that times and the last couple of my career identified that there are so many ongoing projects, Korea and the ASEAN member countries, from the building digital infrastructure to the technical cooperation. However, today I would like to two key points. The first one is to enhancing digital skill or human resource development, because as we see into the development of the technical development, without the human resources or enhanced digital skill, it is very difficult to finding solutions or national or regional development. As we noticed, digital gap in Asian member countries, including ASEAN country, there are so many widened gaps in terms of the digital skill. So I think as we recognize that Korea is one of the leading countries to ICT development and the digital skill. So I propose that one of the the main area we have to invest in is to the corporations to development in digital skill, because human resources, as we advance the new technology, it is key element or component reshaping to the digital economies or next level of the digital connectivity. And the other one is that ICT cooperation. In the last couple of years, the global development of the communication technology is very harnessed or tackling by the geopolitical issues or other issues. However, we recognize during the COVID-19 areas, communication technology or digital technology is one of a survival solution or infrastructure. We have to educating, communicating, working or living in our society. So I think the cooperation in terms of the ICT development is one of the least or less interesting subject. So I think we have the more corporations, ICT development. By looking at one example, as I presenting in the 5G service or next 6G generation network, Korean government already investing or planning to the roadmaps. It is one of the leading countries to ASEAN member countries. So I think this kind of cooperation, new digital devices or new infrastructure could be benefits not only Korean country, but also to all of the region, including the ASEAN member country. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Son. Mr.
Thank you. As Professor Oh mentioned before, I came from private sector only. So maybe I ask something to public sectors, but I want to say openness in applying regulation, not only in Korea, but also in ASEAN countries. There are regulations in financial sectors, especially global payments. Global payments regulation is inevitable. But for example, domestic citizens can pay here with your QR, but foreigners cannot because of regulations. It's real. It's real. But as you know well, the connection between Korea and the ASEAN market is in a very early stage. So the openness in regulation is utmost important, I think. Thank you.
In order to say something, I would like to suggest one thing. ASEAN and Korea has built a very strong relationship each other for the, last many years. Now I think we have to move to next level of cooperation. How can we do that? What's the point? Then I suggest one thing. Let's have some kind of the expert advisory working group so that, I go to events. For example, I go to ASEAN-Korea conference, forums, and there are many events for Korea and ASEAN relations. But that's pretty much it, right? In order to build a little bit more strong relationship. For example, I worked for the government for 20 years, and I still have difficulties to suggest anything related to ICT policies to the government. But how can I make suggestions to ASEAN communities just looking, outside of mirror, right? So I have to go into, go over the mirror, get inside, and see what's going on, and analyze the problems, and talk about discussions, and then we can, conclude or make suggestions or policies, right? So let's get experts together and see what's the problem or what's the status, and then, in order to move forward, what we have to do, then make a policy or suggestions. I think that's the top priority to move forward from this point. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. So a lot of things emerged from the discussion. So approaching the issues like digital trade, particularly trade facilitation, and also the cybersecurity and digital skills and digital talent, and the issue of regulations in the financial or fintech, and also the how to set up or utilize certain institutional framework, right, to get to some certain practical issues, and also connect experts to policymaking process. So there are certain issues that I want to go back to later, but before we get there, Actually, I have prepared my own questions for individual presentations or the individual speakers. And I think it also helped the audience to fully understand and appreciate the presentation. So if I may, Dr. Lan, you mentioned in your presentation the DIFA negotiations, the ASEAN's Digital Economy Framework Agreement, that it just has been launched. And because you glossed over, but I think you have a lot to say about that negotiations, those negotiations, because as you have alluded in your talk, that there is inevitably a variation or gap among ASEAN member states in terms of their readiness. So what is ASEAN doing or can do to address that variation or gap?
Thank you. I think this is one of the most critical questions that we all ask ourselves among ASEAN, how we should address the gap among the member states of ASEAN, and how we overcome the challenge that we have. I had opportunity earlier to explain. ASEAN, we approach the digital transformation from very different starting point. Some country is more ready than others. Some actually is the best performer in the world. I can say bluntly, our Singapore colleague actually it give a good example of how the digital transformation should be look like. But it's not a one-fit-all model. And other countries may approach it in a more practical way. Now, even though we acknowledge the fact that there is a significant gap among ASEAN, we aim to have a single a framework where ASEAN can collectively work together to become a single digital market or single digital economy, so that we can allow each and every business people can scale up their business model throughout the regions and taking the advantage of the region integration. So that is why Mr. Kim will no longer worry about that you are not able to scale up your payments solutions across the regions, because that is exactly why ASEAN should work together to allow that. Now, but having said that, the negotiation is really a long-standing and sometimes a very tough exercise. We need to test and test again our ambitions, and we try to come up with a modality where we all can work together. Now, ASEAN, we have a extraordinary experience in dealing with how to overcome it. Flexibility should be given for those who need it. The second thing is that we should set up a strong capacity building so that we can help those who really need it. Let's say in data governance, let's say in how to promote a more secure network. We actually need to build up the maturity of security across the country. And also, we need to also explore a possibility of having a pilot. The pilot means that those who are ready can go ahead, while others can catch up sometime. So this is all the mechanisms that we are considering during the DEFA negotiation. Particularly if you look at the 9 key elements, they are all very challenging. And we hope that by having a practical solution, we actually can address the so-called digital gap or digital divide among the region. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Lan. So, and this question is addressed to Dr. Son. And it might be a bit technical, but I find it quite curious. I mean, you mentioned something about the Internet Exchange Point System in your presentation. Can you elaborate more on what is this Internet Exchange Point System and why this may be important, especially to ASEAN?
Thank you for questions. The Internet Exchange Point is technical terms and very difficult conception. However, it is simply that internet exchange point is moderating to our traffics and to more enhancing our connectivity, not just in domestic but also to around the world. So by looking at these forums, so many people can be connecting the YouTubes or other devices, including this room. If we cannot have the moderating IXP or other devices, we cannot watching throughout the mobiles or internet service. That is the IXP connection. However, by looking at the last couple of years, the Asian community is very difficult project. When I was working in UNSCAPs and to the Korean government agency, it is very interesting subject. By looking at to the CLMV Thailand, Cambodia, Laos, Myanmar, Vietnam, and Thailand, all of those countries are neighboring countries in Southeast Asian country. However, country by country connectivity is very difficult because the lack of the internal exchange point. That was main concern in last couple of decades. However, member countries have been trying to the more buildings connectivity establishment of the IXP, but it has been faced so many challenges because lack of the funding resources, uncoordinating by the other governments or unhappy to connectivities or geopolitical issue. Also, lacking of a funding issue. However, if we have more digital trade or shaping Asian community more connected, I think IXP can be one of the urgent issue we have to building or looking at attention. Throughout this issue, we have to more connecting, more exchanges, not just a single country, but also to ASEAN region and more connectivity around the world. The other one is that in terms of the national level, internet exchange point is one of the key areas in this connected society. All of us talking about the digital center or digital connectivity. In terms of the digital data center, if we have to the internet accessibility, so IXP point, we cannot moderating our sufficient capacity or internet traffic management. So I think in Asian Pacific countries, including Asian connectivity issue to the connecting or building next level of the internet exchange point, it is one of the urgent or drawing attention our policymaker in the world. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Son. So moving to Mr. Kim. So you actually have answered the first part of my question because I mean, you talked about when you talked about the openness in regulation is the biggest challenge or challenge for establishing a cross-border payment system in ASEAN. But if I may push you a bit further on that front, can you give us so the openness in regulations is the big challenge. But from your point of view, I mean, what is the low-hanging fruit, if there is any, that ASEAN as a regional entity or ASEAN member states or ASEAN's partners like Korea can tackle in addressing that issue?
Yes. The regulations, applying regulation is, I think, is different country by country because there is some reasons to they applying some regulations, even in Korea. So the easiest way for me, or that is easy, but the urgent way for me, urgent way to this business for me, for our country is, connect country by country, especially country which Korean travelers go frequently, most frequent country. Just like, so we connect to Thailand is very successful. We are trying to connect Vietnam. Vietnam is one of the biggest country in ASEAN countries, but still we are working on that. So we tried various way to connect and the hurdle to overcome the hurdle in terms of regulation, in terms of some kind of regulations. So we are almost there. We believe that we can connect to Vietnam maybe in this quarter. So I'm very happy to say that, and this is maybe the way we do in private sector. I mean, step by step, country by country, we do our best to connect any country until we connect to the whole ASEAN country, 10 countries. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Kim. So, I mean, it's an exciting development, and it's good to know that that Vietnam will be connected or put on the map of GLN network soon. And for Dr. Go, so, I mean, you mentioned the issue of data governance in your presentation, but I think you kind of left us with this question, then what is the best way to build regional data governance? Because I guess it's already difficult to build a governance domestically, but now you are dealing with a region. So what would be the best way or the first step?
You gave me one of the biggest questions in my life. Even in Korea, we had a very difficult time to, have a solid data governance in the government. I cannot tell you exactly what we should do, but I can just give a framework of data governance for ASEAN. First of all, when is very important, right? Immediately, ASAP, because the world, as I said, the world is moving to AI world. So without data, we cannot do anything related to AI. So the data governance is immediate, threat, I can say, if we don't have it. So when is right now. The second thing, where is very important, right? We have the Secretariat of ASEAN, so the best place for the data governance is the Secretariat of ASEAN, of course. And then who will be? I always suggest not working level officers, but decision makers. Because in that way, we can make a lot of things get rid of. Because, if we, have a structure with working level officers, they have to ask and back and forth and doing this and do that. And, we have to spend so much time for administration. So, decision makers have to involved in this data governance. The last one, what we should do in data governance, okay? System management and standardization and connectivity. And there are so many things that, already have, for example, European unions, they have data governance already. So we can benchmark those data governance in order to establish the data governance for ASEAN. The last one, the most important thing is, let's get straight, which means we have to find a way to shorten the decision making. If we spend a lot of time on decision making level, then we will get behind. So the challenge, the real challenge always is that how can we make decisions fast enough so that we can follow or we can lead the AI era. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Son. So that was the second round, and I want to address some of the issues that emerged from our first round of discussion, that is cybersecurity and digital talent. And actually, the cybersecurity was mentioned by both Dr. Lan and Dr. Son. And Dr. Lan specifically, I know that you have prepared some slides, right, on cybersecurity, because it is clear that that is something that really holds the whole process back. So would you like to elaborate on the issue of cybersecurity and perhaps more on the Korea-ASEAN cooperation?
Thank you. Cybersecurity is probably one of the most critical issues that need to be addressed urgently if we want to realize the so-called digital economy or digital market. Because if you don't have a secure network and if you don't have a secure regime to protect privacy, to ensure that there should be no misleading, no effective mechanism to address scam, online scam, then there's no way for us to realize the benefit of the digital economy. So recently, ASEAN is moving up toward a very aggressive, I can say, very proactive initiative to ensure a collaboration in cybersecurity. Now, from the policy point of view, ASEAN has set up the so-called Coordination Committee on Cybersecurity, where we exchange views, we coordinate policy. We also try to build a capacity building across the region to promote, to elevate our capability to address a cybersecurity issue at the regional level. That is the policy perspective. Now, the policy cannot be realized without the infrastructure and the real person who actually do the cybersecurity. That is the human resource development. Like Dr. Son has repeatedly said, ASEAN is now moving up toward that goal. This year, ASEAN will launch the full operation of the, we call it computer emergency response team. This is for the first time we come up with a common platform where ASEAN CERT, CERT is the stand for Computer Emergency Response Team, which is like the facility to track and chase and track down and shoot down the cybersecurity issues. And now we come up with the modality of a regional-wide modality where we try to elevate or coordinate the individual member state efforts in the cybersecurity. And when we are coming to that stage, we share the information. We try to build up the capacity to do that. So that is the why cybersecurity is now doing in ASEAN. And finally, that ASEAN is come up with a full-fledged agenda with we call it Cybersecurity Action Plan to address the cybersecurity. And we also create some sort of new platform, like how to address the phone information, misleading information, how to address the scam. We actually have to do it across pillar, not only economic pillar, but also in social and culture, and even in the political pillar, we address with like a cybercrime, and cybersecurity is a comprehensive and across pillar initiative in ASEAN. Thank you.
So if if I may, I mean, just to stay more, a bit more on the cybersecurity, I'd like to invite Dr. Son to chime in because in one of your slides, you kind of have this, you expressed your ambition that perhaps down the road, ASEAN can or should connect private data to this public data portal. But as you know and mentioned that the cybersecurity is also a huge issue, even there. So, I mean, what's your take on this issue? Can you comment on this? Yes. Thank you. Yeah.
Oh, is it me?
Yeah, because you brought up this creating this, a data portal that includes both public and private data. Yeah.
Okay, it's a good point because cybersecurity is very much crucial, especially in AI world. For example, I have lived with data over the last 3 years. I didn't do anything but data over the last 3 years. I led one of the biggest data projects in Korea. We call $1 billion project over the last 3 years. The government invested $1 billion into only AI data. And privacy and security is crucial. But there's a side effect. If you emphasize on cybersecurity, what's going to happen? Availability and accessibility will decrease, right? So, as a policymaker, we always have to sitting on the fence. Do we have to really emphasize cybersecurity, or do we have to emphasize on openness of services or data? We have to judge all the time because we are always sitting on the fence. But security is very, very much important because once my data is released or leaked in the AI era, you cannot retrieve or you cannot delete, right? Once the AI algorithm, get trained with your data, you cannot get rid of your data out of AI services. It will be there forever, right? So security is very much important. But can we really secure with the systems? Part of. But what I always emphasize is that one part, of course we have all the systems, security systems and firewalls and everything. The other part, usually nowadays, information or cybersecurity problem arise with people. Human leaking and human, lackness. So, as Dr. Son mentioned, how are you going to train people? How are you going to educate, or how are you going to grow experts in AI? Cybersecurity is very much important, especially in the AI field. That's my emphasis on cybersecurity. Thank you.
Thank you for a very, very balanced view on data privacy and data utilization. Thank you. We have a question from the audience, and this question is addressed to Dr. Lan. So this question is about the implementation of ASEAN digital governance framework. The question is whether ASEAN has any institutional digital data repository or facility, and if not, how about Korea's assistance in this regard?
Okay, first of all, I just want to address the first questions on the ASEAN digital data governance. So I just want to first to commend Dr. Son on his endeavor in promoting data governance. and try to promote the data exchange between among ASEAN countries. Now, in fact, that ASEAN has gone in a very long journey, has gone through a very long journey in fostering the data governance within the regions. So in 2015, in fact, that ASEAN already introduced the so-called the ASEAN digital data ASEAN cross-border digital data framework, where we emphasize two approaches. One is to have a contractual approach, where ASEAN promote the good practices by having a contractual between the players, between the data providers and users, using the best practices like the GDPR in the EU. So it means that we actually want to promote the responsibility of those who share and those who use the data across the country, across the region. And that is the first approach that we are undertaking. The second approach is even more ambitious, where we are going to have the so-called certification system, where ASEAN should have some sort of harmonized mechanisms where we invite the independent, accredited agents to verify and certify those who come and share the data across the country, across the region. So we are still moving very tremendously in this area and in order to support for the data governance, we also promote the so-called ASEAN data management framework. And one of the things that Dr. Son has mentioned earlier about data classifications and management, we want to promote the best practices in this area. And that is, I would like to share that we are on the move. We are on the move on this, in this area. And the second question regarding, what is that, depository? Is that institution digital?
Repository.
Depository to facility. Yes, this is very good suggestion. In fact, that in ASEAN, we have a number of depository. With the trade depository, where we share the information on data, on regulatory framework and regulations across the region. And here in the digital area, we actually want to develop it. We want to develop a depository among ASEAN to enhance the awareness of the digital legal issues, a legal framework across the country. And also, we aim to come up with so-called the integrated ASEAN digital framework. And I'm sure that this is one of the areas that ASEAN is now exploring. So thank you very much.
Thank you. We have, but I think we can take this. So this will be the last question for this morning. So for Dr. Go, so what is your advice for Korean data company to expand their presence or business presence in ASEAN?
Okay. Wow. Understanding the region would be my answer, because a lot of Korean companies, they would like to expand their businesses to a lot of regions, but they only sell their projects, localized projects to the regions. It's not going to work in that way anymore. It worked previously, maybe 10 years ago, 20 years ago, it worked. But now, you really have to localize your services, understanding the regions, collaborate with local businesses, and communicate with people. Please come to this kind of forum or conferences and talk with people. And that's the best way to understand the region. And I don't see a lot of Korean companies come to this conference or forum and talk about freely, what their goals and what do they have. Listening. They have to listen to you. What do you have? What kind of services? And what can you provide us? So I always invite all the Korean companies to come to this kind of event and talk and communicate. That's the best way. There's no solution for expanding businesses successfully without that way. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. With that, I have to call this session to a close. I want to thank the audience for your attention and participation. But most of all, I'd like you to join me in thanking the speakers for sharing their knowledge and insights. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Please give them another big round of applause.